Well, here we are, episode 11 of The Film Man and the Film Fan. My name's Brent. We're at Matakana Cinemas, and I'm here with the cinema owner, Dan. But I didn't realise it was dress-up day.
Yeah, it's a school day. Usually a dress-up day is on a Friday.
Yeah, but I mean, if I'd have known that we were going to dress up, I would have been back maybe with my Darth Vader helmet and my lightsaber.
Yeah, coming from the guy who didn't tell me last time it was dress-up day.
Yeah. So what is? It's a great look on you, by the way, Dan. I'm not going to criticise it, but what's it all about?
Well, light blue is kind of one of my colours. I know.
Yeah.
Red not so much, but I'm dressed up as someone from Team Zissou.
Yep.
You may have heard of a film called The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, and the director,
Wes Anderson.
You're putting it together. I love it, Brent. You've nailed it, even for a Friday. Fantastic. Yeah. Look, it's great to be here. I certainly think that we must talk about Wes Anderson. Mm-hmm. We need to talk about Wes. I have a few things I'd like to address.
Okay. Yeah. Are you going to wear the beanie for the whole thing, or
we'll see what happens? It's pretty cozy and snug in the Roxy Theatre. So if I get a little bit sweaty, I'll remove the beanie.
Yeah, that's good. Anyway, it's Mufti Day, so we've got to flick a gold coin donation for the Film Man and the Film Fan, episode 11. We're very mature. Dan, I've got to say congratulations. I saw your beaming face in a photo for a Junction magazine win.
I was in a photo? Was I caught on camera?
Yeah, you were caught on camera.
Okay, interesting. And that was for?
Junction magazine.
Okay, yes.
And an award?
The Junction Awards. Super honoured and proud. We won it many years ago, actually, and it's for the local magazine, Junction Magazine. They do a publication that comes out monthly. It's beautifully packaged, and it really, really supports local business. Yeah. They hugely support local business and local business advertisers in their magazine. It's a beautiful mutual relationship. I love it that there's a local rag like that focused on local business and art and fashion and so on. But yeah, we took out the entertainment award for the southern region. They look after north and south in terms of the award categories, so north being sort of Mangawhai, Wellsford area. We had some stiff competition. There's some great entertainment venues around our area, but we're just really pleased that it was a little bit of recognition. We didn't do any kind of marketing campaign to say vote for us or anything. It felt really organic. It felt like the people that come to Matakana Cinemas and enjoy the experience. Because that's what it is about for me. It's the movies are awesome. Movies get people in the door. You still got to have a great experience, and you still got to give people those warm fuzzies. Yeah. And that is just recognition for more my team than I. I mean, I know leadership comes from the top, and it's about instilling that in your team. But I've got such a great team at Matakana Cinemas. They're so warm and welcoming, and they're funny, and they're friendly, and they get on well. And so that really advocates for those guys. And look, I will say that, with all the small businesses doing it really tough at the moment, it's really great to have someone advocating for them in a magazine and saying, come and see us and come and spend with us. Because a lot of the small businesses in our area are actually owner-operated. Yeah, they are. Yeah.
No, it's great. And it is a great experience. That's why I love Matakana Cinemas anyway. And it's really interesting when I do come to movies and you get people who are coming here for the first time and they look at the ceilings or they look at the surroundings and you hear a lot of, wow, this is amazing. And it just has that great feel. It's great to see the movies, great sound, great feel in the cinemas. You got the Vintry here. It's just a fantastic experience. So congrats on that. I think that was a great award for you guys to win.
Thank you so much, Brent. So July film releases, Film Fan.
Yes.
You're the guy who's meant to come and see most of the movies.
Yes.
So
I did.
You did?
I did.
Wonderful. Okay.
I've seen two of the biggest ones I've been waiting for this year. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Great.
And the new Mission Impossible
Fantastic. 100% for you.
Okay. So I'm going to give both of those movies 10 Jaffas out of 10 Jaffas.
10 Jaffas. Any snifters in there?
Well, yeah, those, I
Can
do
one
like
have
the
10 snifters and one have
here.
10 Jaffas?
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful.
So Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Can I just say that what I really don't like about the internet is they all try to predict it's going to be a flop before it even comes out. They give you all the bad information about it, and it really annoys me. Because I'm a George Lucas, Steven Spielberg fan, and I'm an Indiana Jones fan, I was hoping that this was going to be one of those great movies that went back to Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it did for me. The opening sequence with the de-aging with Indy is some of the best Indiana Jones stuff I have seen. I thought it was incredible the way they put that together.
Amazing.
And it just took me back to Raiders of the Lost Ark, the way it was filmed, the camera angles, how it looked, all those kind of things. I absolutely loved it. And the rest of the movie too. And Phoebe Waller, brilliant. She was absolutely brilliant. I loved it. I thought it was a great movie. I came with my wife. We walked out and went, it was just, that was good. It didn't seem like it, there was all these things, it's long and all these things. It didn't feel like that. It was just a great Indiana Jones movie. Loved it.
You raise a really interesting point. And before we go into Mission Impossible, movie watching's different now, isn't it?
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons.
Yes.
But in terms of drilling down into what you've just said, when you were a kid, when I was a kid, you just go to the movies.
That's it.
You just go to the movies. There might be a review in the New Zealand Herald.
Yeah.
Or what else was around then? The
You
Sunday
just see
Star.
you just see a poster.
Yeah.
And the poster artwork was the thing that you went, I got to go see that.
It is so hard these days to just go and see a movie, right?
It is, yeah.
It's really hard. So I guess I have a challenge for everyone is
Yeah.
just go to the cinema and watch a movie. I sometimes don't even watch trailers. This might sound crazy. I haven't watched the Oppenheimer trailer.
Haven't you?
I've not watched the Oppenheimer trailer. And I've made a conscious effort to not watch the Oppenheimer trailer.
Yeah. I think you're right. I loved Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny. I'm sick of seeing things about, it's a flop. It's only made $300 million US and all these kind of things. I'm just over it. Go and see it. It's a great movie. If you love Harrison Ford and you love Indiana Jones, you're going to love the movie.
I can't say anything more about it.
Yep.
He's the film fan.
Yeah. And then Mission Impossible. Now, you know that you and I, we just did the Maverick count from last time.
Yep.
We're Tom Cruise fans, but this movie, that man is an incredible filmmaker. It was great from the beginning to the end. Absolutely loved it. And you know what I love about it too is straight after I'd seen the movie, I went and watched a lot of the behind the scenes footage that you can find on YouTube. It's just incredible the amount of practical stuff they've done in this movie, from him leaping off the cliff with a motorbike to being on top of an actual train rather than a lot of CGI and things. But the whole story that involves AI, it just feels real current, and the look of it and the actors and Tom, absolutely brilliant. 10 out of 10 Jaffers.
Yeah, incredible. Look, love him or hate him, Tom Cruise is a true movie star. He's one of the few actors that can command attention.
Yeah.
And by that, I don't mean jumping on couches necessarily, but I mean getting people to the cinema.
Yes.
And let's add another Top Gun Maverick to the count.
Okay, cool.
Because with that film, it nearly got sold to streaming. And he said, no, we're not going to sell it to streaming.
No.
It was going to get sold for X amount of dollars.
Yep.
It made twice X amount of dollars at the cinema. And it's not a stretch to say that it probably saved a lot of cinemas, that movie, with the box office it took. You've got to give Tom Cruise a huge amount of credit for that. He really gives a damn about making movies and getting them to the big screen. And as a cinema owner, I can't fault that.
No.
Yeah.
And I want part 2. But, there's a few things going on that may delay part 2, unfortunately.
Yeah, that might happen.
Yeah.
That might happen. Okay, so, Brent, I set a challenge for you for the French Film Festival Aotearoa 2023.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to see 2 films. Did you complete your challenge?
Half of it. I saw one movie. Look, getting me to see one movie.
It was not that hard.
I know, look.
It was on for 2 weeks.
You gave me so many options, Dan, and I just couldn't get the timing right for a couple of the movies. But
you are the film fan.
I know.
You have one job.
I know. I have upped my game. That's what I have to do. But I'll tell you the interesting thing about this is when I went back and spoke to my wife, Kezia, and said, okay, we're going to go see 2 films at the French Film Festival. The great thing is that we sat down and watched all the trailers for all the movies and decided from there. And actually, there was about 4 that we thought we could see 4 of these. We really want to.
And you only saw one?
Yeah, I only saw one. in the end. There was a couple of really great detective-looking thrillers and things
Yep.
that I wanted to see. But the one I did see was, and I'll never get the right, Jack Mammon and the Secret of Valverde.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
At least you got the title pretty close of the one film you saw.
Yeah. But can I just say that I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I saw it in this theatre.
Yep.
And it was just great. It's a great comedy. It was set in a jungle. It had elements of Raiders of the Lost Ark and the Jungle Cruise and all sorts of things. And I absolutely loved the movie. I thought it was fantastic.
I love that because you are such a fan of that kind of film.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to Hollywood studio films, but to see kind of the French version almost of those films is perfect for someone who's a fan of those type of films. So with that, I will say that you kind of didn't really even get the one challenge right because I was trying to get you to see a film that was out of your comfort zone. But I'm very impressed that you even made it to one.
Thank you.
So,
Going to a movie where I have to read is a big thing for me.
I know, and you mentioned that last time. That's
Yeah.
fine. So what happened with the French Film Festival compared to last year?
Right.
Okay. We had about 700 people buy tickets for the festival in 2022. This year, we had 1,161 people buy tickets.
That's brilliant.
We did extend the festival by 4 days.
Yep.
So that did add a little bit more opportunity to it. But pretty much every session was at least 75% full. I would say 80% of the sessions sold out. We were so pleased with the result. And I know that the festival wide, around New Zealand actually was the best ever. And I've heard that from Fergus, who's the managing director of the festival. We're so excited that we've even announced the dates for next year.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So we're kicking it off on the 30th of May in 2024. We're actually going bigger and better. And so you can look out for some sessions playing in the 74-seat Paradiso Theatre because we want to take that number to the next level. Now, back to the challenge.
Okay.
We are showing some films post-festival. We've got a couple playing at the moment. We've got Sugar and Stars.
Yes.
And we've got A Good Doctor. A Great Friend is coming up at the back end of August, which we'll talk a little bit more about. And there's the potential to show a couple more. So, you need to see one more French film
Well, just one.
in the next 2 months.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay, I'm in.
So you need to get into your planning.
Yeah.
Talk to Kezia and work out which one you want to see. You've seen all the trailers.
Yes,
So
that's
you just need
right.
to look at the program.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really stoked with the French. Can't wait to show it again next year. The response was incredible. And I just love it that people ran with it. You were an exception, actually, Brent, that
Oh, really?
to the rule of for pretty much most people that came to see one film, saw 2, 3, 4, 5. We had people come to see 10, 11. And that's the thing about a festival is it creates that festive environment. And people were coming back in and they were saying, it's great to be back. We're joking, you may as well get a lazy boy and stay overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So, yeah.
Well, maybe I aim for 10 movies for 2026.
That's pushing it out there if you can only see one. Challenge for next year.
Okay.
3.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you thought the Rugby World Cup and the All Blacks is a big event, there's nothing quite as big as Barbenheimer.
Actually, it's the Women's Football World Cup.
Yes.
Excuse my voice for being a bit croaky today. I went to the match and it's still hanging around.
But you're right.
Go the Football Ferns.
But what I love about the internet is they've turned Barbie and Oppenheimer into Barbenheimer. There's great posters online and everything. But actually, for cinema, do you think this is a really great thing that's happened with it?
Yeah, I think the studios have worked together on the marketing because usually films, there is behind the scenes chat between the studios, the big wigs talking about, putting a flag in the ground for release dates. I want my film on this date, says Paramount. I want this film on this date, says Universal. They work it out. Usually, it would be positioned probably as this film versus that film.
Right.
But instead, it's been a mashup.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. And I think that is just fantastic for cinema. It's not, don't see this movie, see this one. Which is, to be honest, it's usually the way human behavior works, right? It's like, just because you see that one, you can't see that one. But it's actually, go and see both.
Yeah.
And interestingly, we can talk about the release date being the Barbenheimer release date, July 20th in New Zealand and July 21st in the US market, as traditionally a really unusual decision to put two of the biggest films out on the same date. I guess they're quite disparate.
Yeah.
Very different movies.
Yeah.
But I would counter and say that because they are reviewing so high and both already so loved, this is Christopher Nolan's best film ever, says someone.
Yeah.
Barbie film, flawless.
Yeah.
I would argue that people want to see both.
Yes.
And that maybe they should have been released on separate dates. But you never know until the film releases. It's a bit of a catch-22, right? Maybe this is a way of looking at things in the future. I'm excited, for sure, when it comes to the industry, because these are big release films that are starting to happen more often.
Right.
And it's pretty unusual for even when times were good, we're talking pre-COVID here, where two big films like this would be released on the same date. But what it's showing is that there are just more movies coming out, more studio releases. Yeah. There may be a little bit of a hitch to our plan with that one coming up, but it does bode well for what's being written down on the release schedule.
Yeah, and I think when coming to see the Barbie movie, like for me as a dad, and I've got 3 girls, and so we watched very much the animated Barbie movies with the girls growing up.
Yep.
And, so... And when I see the trailers for Barbie, I don't kind of know. For me, it's been weird. I'm not sure where it's positioned, because we're going to expect to see talking dogs and talking cats? Is it aimed at kids? Is it more at the adults, or is it right in the middle?
Well, we were really interested about what the rating might be.
Yeah.
The ratings for films in New Zealand through the censorship office usually come out. It depends on where the release is happening.
Yeah.
If it's going to a festival or something, so the rating might go through earlier. But the Barbie rating only came out about a week and a half ago. And until that time, we didn't really know what the tone was, because the trailers weren't giving us that much.
That's right.
PG.
Oh, okay.
Love it. Perfect
Cool.
for families.
Yes.
I'm going to see it with my family. We'll probably see it again with my family. Oppenheimer is not a family movie.
No.
So I will see that. And I'm not... if I didn't work in cinema, I would still probably go and see both.
I would, yeah. I think just for the nostalgia fact again with my daughters and as a family with my wife, that we used to watch those all together because it was just a thing that we did. So come along and see that. And definitely Oppenheimer is something I'm interested in seeing, and I cannot wait to see
If you're a
that.
Christopher Nolan fan, which you are,
Yeah.
I am. If you're a Christopher Nolan fan out there, a lot of people saying it's his best ever, as I mentioned just before. You need to come and find out for yourself.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean see it on the big screen, because you won't see it anywhere else for at least 100 days.
So there you go. Barbenheimer has arrived. Da, 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 bum, 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 bum. And that's why we talk instead of doing music. Okay, Dan, we need to talk about Matakana Cinemas and the NZIFF.
Yeah, the New Zealand International Film Festival, August 10th to the 27th here at Matakana. I'm rubbing my hands because it's the second time we've shown it, and I touched on this last year, that it was such a big dream of mine to get the International Film Festival here. Less so the international ones along the lines of the French and the Italian, but those ones we have been showing for a while, and they've been growing, sort of organically. And Matt, my cinema manager, has a great relationship with Paolo at the Cinema Italiano Film Festival, so that's kind of Matt's thing. The French is something that we're just building with Fergus and his team. That's been a roaring success. And the NZIFF has kind of been my pet project, so it's kind of dear to my heart. I've always loved the International Film Festival.
Yes.
Back when I was living in Auckland City, and before I had children and I had a lot of time on my hands, I would go to, half a dozen to 10 films, if not more, actually, each festival, when I first started working in cinema. And actually before that as well, before I even did work in cinema. Always been a movie fan. So excited about bringing it back for the second time here at Matakana. We have an incredible lineup of films. Off the top of my head, I think there's 38 that we're going to be showing across the 2 weeks. You've got to go and have a look at the film schedule and check out what you want to see. Yeah. And I'm talking both to the people out there in podcast world, but I'm also talking to you, because you have a challenge.
Oh, really?
Yet again, because you failed so miserably in the French Film Festival. Sorry, we're bringing it back to...
okay, I know,
we're lowering the tone here, and we'll come back to the quality of the film festival and what an incredible array of films there are. But you saw one film at the French Film Festival, and I challenged you to see 2. Okay?
Yes. Okay.
So that was, you just passed. You got 50%.
I know.
And look, I'll give you a couple more percentage points because you intended on seeing another one and you loved the film you saw.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
going to give you 55%.
Wow.
Okay?
It's almost like being back at school, but I
Yep.
didn't get that high in marks.
Yep, but no chocolate bars or apples, okay? There's no treats.
Okay.
So, your challenge is to see 2 films at the New Zealand International Film Festival,
Okay.
Brent, and I want you to get 100 out of 100. I want you to nail this assignment, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you're going to need to have a flick through the booklet, which has just arrived actually
Yeah.
for the regional cinemas, and you're going to have to find a couple of films and tell me which ones you're going to see.
Okay.
And I'll hook you up with those tickets. I'll make it really easy for you. And as it says in the title or on the box, it's the New Zealand International Film Festival. There's stuff from everywhere. It is a fantastic lineup. Anatomy of a Fall is the film that won Cannes this year, and it's opening the New Zealand Film Festival. It's opening the festival here as well. Stunning film.
Yeah.
It kind of kicks off with a young boy finding his dad on the ground, having fallen from a window.
All right.
At their holiday home in the Swiss Alps. It's sort of a legal procedure thriller. Looks fantastic. I really want to see that film. Past Lives has a huge amount of buzz. Set sort of equally in Korea and New York about a couple who sort of reconnect over the course of a few decades.
Right.
It's a beautiful, dramatic love story. Huge raps on that film, probably going to be in the mix come Oscar time. Fallen Leaves closes the film festival. Very quirky Scandinavian comedy with a slightly unusual kind of aspect going on to it. Another film I'm looking forward to is Perfect Days, which is a Japanese film. That's just a small amount of films. I've got my sheet. I've highlighted. I've circled which ones I can probably make. I've already said to Matt, actually, I'm going to probably be taking a little bit of leave of absence, impromptu. I don't even need to mark it down. I'm just going to be in the office at work and go, sorry, I'm heading off into this session. You're going to have to...
Well, that's good because I was going to ask, do you make time to see
It's a
movies?
good question. And as soon as I was saying it, I was actually thinking,
Yeah.
I'm posing something here.
Yeah.
It's hard. Look, we're still running a business. You know, there's still a lot. We still work a lot behind the scenes. You know, there's bills to pay, and there's our team to look after, and you know, culture's big here in our business, and we want people to come and know that there's a warm, inviting place, and that comes from how our staff feel. So you know, it's like keeping that culture running. It's changing light bulbs. It's keeping the seats clean. It's, you know, it is a small business, and we work really hard. Seeing movies should be our priority, but you're the film fan, and that's why 2 films should be pretty easy.
Easy. Not so easy for you, though.
But yeah, on occasion, Matt and I, or one of us, will try and slip into the cinema when we can. If the schedule's pretty clear, I'll sort of go, I can leave those emails for later, and I'll pop in. Especially if it's a film I really want to see, and my wife Anna doesn't want to come and see it, because I can't come and see a film without her if she really wants to see it.
No, that's right.
You know, it's great for us to come and do date night, but just as punters, you know, and to just turn up and have the experience.
Yeah.
And so more often than not, I do prefer to come and see movies here out of working hours.
Right.
But I got to say, sometimes I'm sitting in the theatre, I'm like, is it going to start on time? Is it clean? You know,
the right trailer's playing? All the ads on there.
It's funny, isn't it? It's really funny. So it's nice for me to come and just try and, you know, sometimes I might bring a beer in and just and just treat it like chill time.
Yeah.
But with the International Film Festival, it's hard and fast. I'm going to see any film I can at the time that I can see it, because some films are only showing once or twice.
Because I saw the best of short films last year.
Oh, you did too?
And Aidan
Yeah.
worked on a film that was in there too. So that was one of our reasons for going. But actually, I really enjoyed it because there was so many different types of films and so much great filmmaking to see.
Yeah, so there's a win.
Yeah,
You should come to see the 2023 version of the New Zealand shorts. Check out everything else. Honestly, there's some fantastic films in there.
Yeah, and everything's online at the website, all the schedule on there. You can have a look through.
Absolutely, yeah. Hit the tab at the top, NZIFF, and it's got everything you need to see.
Okay, Dan, we need to explain why you're dressed like you are.
Yeah, I'm dressed up as someone from Team Zissou.
Yep.
You may have heard of a film called The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, and the director?
Yes, Wes Anderson.
You're putting it together. I love it. I'm a Wes Anderson fan, okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are Wes Anderson fans. We have his next film coming up.
Yeah.
And that's Asteroid City on the 10th of August in New Zealand. It's actually been released as part of the City Centre New Zealand International Film Festival.
Oh, okay.
It's not part of the regional NZIFF. So it's not playing as part of the festival. However, we open the NZIFF on the 10th of August, and it's the same date for Asteroid City. I'm really excited for the film because I love seeing his movies. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a completionist when it comes to Wes Anderson movies, and I love to see them when they get released. And we've shown all of them here at Matakana since we opened. Reviews are fantastic. One of his best comedies, we're hearing. But we do need to talk about Wes. And I feel like, and I'm not the only one who said this, I've had a few conversations with friends and people in the industry lately, that he's almost clocked Wes Anderson. You know? Like, he's finished Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Imagine him doing Mario Brothers.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Interesting. My point being, I love his films,
Yeah.
and they really do have a special quality. They
do.
look so unique.
Yeah.
His style. He has the ability to get 40 A-list cast members into his cast, and all of these things are very much Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
But you know what? I would love to see him do maybe a studio film, or do a movie that is the opposite of a Wes Anderson movie, even though he's Wes Anderson.
So like a blockbuster film, like something, I don't know, not, because his movies are mainstream, but you mean more just...
But maybe not even a blockbuster. I feel like Wes has to... I feel like him doing his own thing is not really a challenge anymore for him.
Right.
He's nailed it to the point where it's getting ridiculously perfect. You know?
Right.
I kind of want to see him do something with a bit of a rough edge,
Okay.
like a John Wick film. Imagine Wes
Oh,
Anderson
yeah.
and John Wick. I'm just throwing ideas out here.
How about a Bourne movie?
I've not even thought about it, but you know, in terms of what movies he might do. But that's my thinking. Anyway, Wes Anderson, Asteroid City on August the 10th. And hey, you've had a look at the cast list.
The cast list, I mean, I couldn't even begin to go through it. It's just an incredible amount of people in there. And you just, when you go to look at the cast list online, every second person you go, oh, crikey, them. It's really amazing.
He's reeled in Tom Hanks,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, let's give him that 1% slice. That's a little bit different for Wes, you know, to get Tom Hanks into one of his films for the first time. But he's got Steve Carell, he's got Scarlett Johansson.
Yes.
He's got Tilda Swinton, I believe, off
Yes,
the top of my
she's in
head.
it. Yep. I think everybody's in it.
Jason
I think
Schwartzman.
basically they just took a bus to Hollywood and
Yeah.
go, everybody on board.
Hey, I'm in it.
Brilliant. So there you go. Asteroid City. Make sure you go see it. And Dan promises he won't dress like this all the time. He is the Wes Anderson of Matakana. Dan, how's August looking for movies?
August is usually a bit of a soft month in the industry in New Zealand. I'm hoping for a pretty good one.
Yeah.
You know, naturally. The New Zealand International Film Festival playing through the bulk of the month from the 10th to the 27th actually is fantastic because it's going to just keep driving, you know, discerning or independent film fans to the cinema. Mm-hmm. But, you know, we need to keep the engine running through the colder months.
Yes.
With a few blockbusters. We've got The Meg 2.
Ah, okay.
Jason Statham.
Well, the first one was filmed in Whangaparao.
Get more excited.
Yeah.
Get more excited because we're hearing really good things about how big screen and fun this movie is. And it's about a megalodon and dinosaurs and them eating massive sharks and then massive sharks eating massive sharks. And
It's always a bigger fish.
there's always a bigger fish, right? Look, Jason Statham knows how to do action movies.
Yeah.
There's a built-in audience for it. We've got a lot
Sure.
of kids excited. They see the poster in the foyer and they're like, Me too, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they'll love that. Yeah.
So, you know, I think
Yeah.
it'll be a good dads and sons movie.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
a bit of a family affair. So,
Yeah.
really, really excited about Meg 2. I would actually probably go and see it for a laugh.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you believe? We've got Gran Turismo, which is
Yes.
based on a true story.
Mhm.
And based on the game as well.
Yeah.
Orlando Bloom makes a return to the big screen. We haven't seen
Okay.
him for a
Been a
while.
while, yeah.
David Harbour from Stranger Things is one
Yes.
of the lead actors in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, adrenaline, car racing,
Yeah.
computer games. There's a certain target demographic for that one.
Yes.
Aforementioned Asteroid City also on the 10th
Yeah.
of August. Miracle Club, which opens on the 3rd of August as well. That's starring Dame Maggie Smith.
Yes.
She's always a draw.
She is.
Yeah, people love coming to see her on the screen. And look, she's getting on now. So,
Yeah.
you know, she's probably only got a few more films in her. So that's a really exciting release. Also starring Laura Linney and Kathy Bates. 90-minute, beautiful little dramatic comedy. Yeah, perfect for discerning audiences with all that other blockbuster action that's going on. We've got Thelma and Louise with a 4K restoration later in
really?
the month. Yeah, we've already sold tickets for that. There's
Okay.
clearly some interest.
Yeah, yeah.
Really exciting. We're actually going to get more into it, and I'm working on it at the moment, releasing some older titles. I've got about 6 or 7 in the works at the moment.
Oh, good.
So definitely
Brilliant.
something to look out for. We call it Cinema Vintage.
Yes.
So that's a sort of little label we're putting on some films. Really looking forward to releasing a little bit more about that. We have Past Lives opening post-festival. And we also have a film called Scrapper coming from Madman Distribution.
Yeah.
And they have another one called Jules. Jules starring Ben Kingsley, about a retiree who has an encounter with an alien life form. And
Great.
yeah, and then the story starts from there.
Yeah.
Amazing reviews for that film. Ben Kingsley hasn't been around, much like
No.
Orlando Bloom. Haven't sort of
Yeah.
really seen him for a while, but
Yeah.
he's coming back to the big screen. And Scrapper has been playing in festivals. It stars Harris Dickinson, who was the male model lead in Triangle of Sadness. It's a father and daughter story. Apparently it's a beautiful comedy, but little art house film that will really surprise. That is definitely a film I would earmark for people to take a risk on. Go to the cinema and go, wow, that film was awesome. Okay, so there's a little tip for film fans. And at the end of the month, we've got Haunted Mansion from Disney Studios.
There's a good cast in that as well. There's Danny DeVito is in there, Rosario Dawson.
Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Lakeith Stanfield, who's in Atlanta. I love
Yeah.
Lakeith Stanfield. That guy is the man. He's such a good actor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really looking forward to that at the back end of August. It's always great to have a few family films sprinkled through. Look, of course, Barbie and Oppenheimer will play through August.
Yeah.
They're just going to keep rolling.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Barbie's still playing in September.
Right,
In the school
okay.
holidays. So, yeah. Another film that we should definitely touch on, starring Eric Bana, The Dry 2, Force of Nature. It's the sequel to a film called The Dry, which came out in, I think it was 2018.
Yep.
Early screenings are saying that this film is fantastic. It's a detective thriller, Australian-made film. It was dated for August the 24th, but it's actually been moved out of that date with an indefinite release date. So there is no new release date.
Right.
And the studio has specifically said that they've moved it because they're going to have publicity issues based around the writer and actors strikes in Hollywood.
Right.
So that's just something that, you know, as an industry, we're just keeping an eye on because, look, I've got to say, it's been really tough the last 3 years. I look back on the 2010s as such an easy time.
Yes.
And I'm not even wearing rose-tinted glasses, see?
Yeah.
Look, business was booming for cinemas and there just weren't that many external challenges. But they are just coming thick and fast for us, you know, through COVID, through storms, you know, financial pressures on the people who we love to invite into our cinema. It's getting harder to come to the movies financially. And then, you know, let's throw a writer's strike in the mix. And it's the first time in about, I think it's 60 years that there's been a simultaneous Writers and Actors Guild strike. And that will have an effect on our industry. Just when we're trying to get back, you know, back on board with consistent releases, this is a little bit of a sign of things to come, I think.
Well, I've seen lots of movies have stopped. I mean, again, I go back to my Mission Impossible 2. They've had to pause filming on what they're doing for that. And all the publicity for movies coming out, as you say, is just going to cause a few problems. So we just encourage the studios to fix it. Please.
Yeah, I was reading...
For a movie fan, please fix it.
I was reading a really good Hollywood Reporter article that was talking about the governor of Hollywood just getting involved and getting this thing moving along and resolved, because it's going to have impact on us here in Matakana, but it'll have a huge impact on the business, not just the direct business in Hollywood, but the peripheral businesses, the restaurants, the Hollywood, the brand, you know, will be heavily impacted if they don't try and resolve this pretty quickly.
Yeah, and people have to make a living, so we need to look after everybody because it's a great industry,
Yep.
and without it, you and I wouldn't be sitting here.
Yep, that's right.
So there you go. That's a wrap on episode 11. I've been to a French film festival and done what Dan has asked me, so we'll see if there's any more challenges to come for episode 12 of The Film Man and the Film Fan. He's rubbing his hands together. That means trouble.